revolution. No president of the United States can alone do what has to be done to protect working families and the middle class, the children or the elderly. Can't do it alone. We need the American people to understand that democracy is not a spectator sport. Democracy is not a spectator sport. You got to stand up, fight back. You know, when we began this campaign, we were considered to be a fringe candidacy. You're probably not going to become president because your ideas are too bold, they are too radical. Well, last night we have won the 18th state. Now, the reason I think we have taken the establishment by surprise, and that is one way of phrasing it, is because we are doing something that is not done in contemporary American politics. We are treating the American people with intelligence and with respect, and we are telling the truth. The truth is not always pleasant. But unless we face up to the realities of our nation and our own lives, it is impossible for us to go forward. We cannot sweep the major issues facing us under the rug and then think we are going to advance. And you determine what the most important issues are. TV is not going to give it to you, and the front pages of the papers probably won't give it to you. You have got to make that decision. And at the center of our way of life as Americans is the understanding that we are a proud democratic society. Now, democracy in its essence is not a complicated idea. You have a vote, and you got to vote, and you got to vote, and you got to vote. Democracy is not about super PACs and billionaires buying elections. Together, we are going to overturn Citizens United. But democracy goes beyond voting. Every person here is an extraordinarily powerful person. We need to make it easier for people to vote, not harder. We should join other countries in understanding that if somebody in this country is a citizen, is 18 years of age, you have the right to vote, end of discussion. Our fight is ending a rigged economy. A rigged economy is when the 20 wealthiest people in this country own more wealth than the bottom 150 million Americans. The Walton family owns more wealth than the bottom 40% of the American people. Walmart, as you know, is the largest private sector employer in America. Walmart pays wages that are so low that many of their employees are forced to go on food stamps and Medicaid. And you know, and who pays taxes for those food stamps and Medicaid? You do. So you have this absurd irony, and this is the essence of a rigged economy where the working families of this country are subsidizing the workers of the company owned by the wealthiest family in America. The middle class of this country should not be subsidizing a family worth $149 billion. The need for welfare reform, getting people to stop ripping off the welfare system. Turns out that the largest beneficiary of welfare in America, getting billions of dollars from the taxpayers, is the Walton family. And I say to them, get off of welfare, pay your workers a living wage. Oh, by the way, We're shutting down plants in Indiana. 2,100 workers are going out on the street because we're going to Mexico where we're paying people there $3 an hour. That's a rigged economy. And a rigged economy is when in Kentucky and in Vermont, Indiana, all over this country, corporations show their contempt for American workers, shut down factory after factory, and move abroad to find the cheapest possible labor on this planet they can. A rigged economy is when large multinational corporations make billions of dollars a year in profit, and in a given year stash their profits in the Cayman Islands and in other tax havens and end up not paying a nickel in federal taxes. 40 years ago, before the explosion of technology in the global economy, one breadwinner could work 40 hours a week, earn enough money to take care of the family, while today we need two breadwinners who earn less disposable income. Our job, and we can do it, is to create an economy that works for all of us, not just a handful on the top. What that will mean is that millions of men and women today who are struggling will have at least a minimum level of security and dignity. They will be able to take care of their families and not live in abject poverty. If we were here in this room 5 years ago, no time at all, and somebody jumps up and says, Bernie, you know, this $7.25 minimum wage is awful, and it's got to be raised to $15 an hour. Mark my words, the person next to her would have said, $15 an hour? You're out of your mind. That's too high. And now the idea of a $15 an hour minimum wage doesn't seem all that radical. And if I have anything to do with it as President of the United States, we're going to have $15 an hour in every state. When we talk about a rigged economy, you are looking at a former congressman and a United States senator who opposed every one of these awful trade agreements. Since 2001, we have lost as a nation some 60,000 factories and millions of good-paying jobs, and a lot of that has to do with disastrous trade policies. In other words, the ideas that we are talking about are the ideas for the future of America. I will be damned if we are going to see that American dream die down. We need the best educated workforce in the world. That it is in the best long-term interests of their economy that they invest in their young people. They were born poor, they expect to live poor, they never in a million years think that they, children of low-income families, of working-class families, will be able to get a college education. Regardless of the income of their families, they will get a college education. Anybody here with student debt? Well, welcome to the crowd. There are millions of Americans in your shoes. I think today it is time to impose a tax on Wall Street speculation. Which will bring in more than enough money to pay for free public college and university. A great nation is not judged by how many billionaires or nuclear weapons it has. But a great nation is judged by how it treats the weakest and most vulnerable amongst us. of the United States Committee on the Environment. Let me tell you what I think most of you know. I have talked to scientists throughout our country and throughout the world. Climate change is real. It is caused by human activity. It is already causing devastating harm to our country and around the world. In my view, we have a moral responsibility to leave this planet in a way that is healthy and habitable to future generations. And that means transforming our energy system away from fossil fuel to energy efficiency and sustainable energy. How does it happen that we can spend trillions of dollars on a war in Iraq we never should have gotten into, but somehow we don't have the money to rebuild the crumbling inner cities of America? Why do we continue to tolerate youth unemployment in inner cities of 40 or 50%, child poverty of 35%, people paying 50, 60% of their incomes in housing because there is no affordable housing? The Native American people were lied to, they were cheated, and treaties they negotiated were broken. We owe the Native American people a debt that we can never fully repay. We must live with nature. We cannot continue destroying nature. I know that there is a lot of nervousness around this country that Donald Trump may become president. Ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. It's not going to happen because every poll that I have seen in the last month or two, including one today, I think it was CNN, that had us 16 points ahead of Donald Trump. We are not, as a nation, we're not going to elect a president who insults Mexicans and Latinos, who insults Muslims, who insults women and veterans, who insults African Americans. And I hope that all of you remember, some people have forgotten, that before he was running for president, Trump was a leader in the so-called birther movement. Remember that? And what that birther movement was about was a very, very ugly and vicious effort to delegitimize the first African-American president we have ever had. We are a unique nation because we are black and white and Latino and Asian American and Native Americans. We are gay, we are straight. We are men, we are women. Some of us were born in this country, some of us immigrated to this country. But the American people understand that as Americans, when we come together, that always trumps tearing us apart. That as a people, we are prepared to support each other and help each other. America, this campaign is about creating a political revolution.